Breaking news, emergency crews descend on Burbank Airport when one plane runs into another while taxiing. The CBS 2 News team is here, and we begin with that airport scare. CBS 2's Elsa Ramon is live on the scene. And Elsa, that plane was full of passengers?
Yes, it was. One of the planes, Pat, was full of passengers. It was the Delta flight that had just landed from Salt Lake City. This was its final destination here at Burbank Airport. We're told the pilot had made it off of the active runway and was taxiing to the gate when it clipped the winglet of another plane that was already at the gate, a United plane that was sitting empty at the gate. We're told by one of the passengers that is when they clipped wings. We're told the plane, the Delta plane with the passengers, was able to get the passengers off the plane, as we can see from Sky 2, some of our video. Immediately after the wings clipped, they were able to get those passengers off the plane. They didn't have to wait very long at all. One of the passengers tells me that the pilot told them right after they made contact with the other plane that the other plane parked at the gate, the United plane without passengers, was parked out too far, and that the Delta pilot clipped wings with that plane as they were approaching the gate.
Felt like we hit a body. Like I said, what did we just hit? Did we actually hit somebody? And the guy who was sitting right by the wing looked over and said, no, we hit that plane, knocked its wing off. I'm like, oh no, we're going to be here forever.
Fortunately for her and the other passengers, they did not have to wait forever. They were quickly deplaned and they were able to get their luggage and go on their way. This was, again, their final destination. So far, we are not getting any other explanation as to why the planes clipped, other than the one the passenger told us the pilot told them as they were getting ready to deplane. Pat, back to you in the studio.
Pretty wild story. Thank you, Elsa. Well, a critter caught on camera scurrying through a popular Disneyland hotel, and it's not Mickey Mouse. CBS 2 Orange County reporter Stacey Butler is live in Anaheim with the video and the park's response. Stacey.
Pat, the one guest who reported this got more than she bargained for when she said she saw that rodent scurry across a lounge where she was standing inside a hotel inside Disneyland. Tonight, Disneyland is taking some serious action. You're looking at cell phone video apparently taken by a Disney guest last night inside the lobby of the Hearthstone Lounge. Scurrying across the floor appears to be a rodent.
I think it's pretty bad to get to that state that they'd have rodents running around in the main foyer. I wouldn't fancy eating in a place like that, that's for sure.
Guests pouring out of Disneyland tonight are shocked that rodents appeared to run around the popular lounge inside Disney's Grand Californian Hotel.
That's disgusting. And I bet they weren't named Mickey either, eh? Were they?
The Hearthstone Lounge normally serves drinks and food all day and night, but for now, it's shut down. A Disney spokesperson told me they just finished a major construction project on Disney's Grand Californian Hotel, and the rodent sighting may have stemmed from that. In a statement issued tonight, Disney said, "We made the decision to immediately close the location last night after we identified a construction-related issue. We're taking aggressive measures to mitigate the problem and plan to reopen the lounge tomorrow morning."
I think it should be shut down until the rats are gotten out.
Disney employees who would only speak off camera say Disney does keep feral cats on the resort grounds just to manage the rodent problem. The Cats of Disneyland even have their own Twitter page.
I don't think I'd like to stay. I'm glad I'm staying outside of the park.
A spokesperson for the Orange County Health Department told me tonight that while they didn't get a formal complaint, they did send a food inspector out here earlier today. They expect to reveal a full report on what they found tomorrow morning. Pat, back to you.
All right. Thank you, Stacey. Breaking news from Las Vegas. Casino workers have authorized a strike, and that means tens of thousands of employees could be walking off the job at the city's biggest casinos. The walkout could happen anytime starting June 1st. The last strike happened in 1984 and lasted more than 2 months. An LA man is accused of posing as an attorney at a local legal office to shake down a client. Police say Jose Morales agreed to help a woman with her husband's immigration case as long as she had sex with him. She refused, but Morales allegedly threatened to have her visa revoked. The woman then went to the Bar Association where she found out he wasn't a lawyer at all. He's now accused of extortion, and police believe there may be more victims who are afraid to come forward.
Your immigration status is no bearing on us. We don't worry about that whatsoever. If you are a victim of a crime, please let us know that we can help you.
Morales is free on bail. Police say he worked at the legal office for 10 years before his arrest. A 25-year-old Fontana woman is now convicted of killing 6 people in a wrong-way crash on the 60 freeway in Diamond Bar. Olivia Culbraith pleaded no contest this afternoon in the wreck that happened in February of 2014. Her blood alcohol level test measured .15 after the crash. Culbraith will be sentenced in September. A California death row inmate convicted of killing 4 people in 1983 is asking the governor for clemency. Kevin Cooper's attorneys want new DNA tests, but the family of an 11-year-old who was murdered isn't buying it. CBS 2's Tina Patel has details.
It's not right.
It's been nearly 35 years, but Marianne Hughes says she thinks of her son Chris every day and wonders what his life would be like if he were still alive.
That he didn't get to go to high school or go to a prom or go to college or get married and have his own children, the grandchildren that we don't have that we might have had. So yeah, we think about him a lot.
The 11-year-old boy was killed at a neighbor's house along with Doug and Peggy Ryan and their daughter Jessica. Josh Ryan, who was 8 at the time, was the only one who survived the brutal attack.
My throat was slashed here and I got stabbed here and hit by an axe here.
Kevin Cooper, a convicted burglar who had escaped from a minimum security prison and was hiding out at a house next door, was arrested and sentenced to death for the brutal crimes.
And there's just no doubt that Kevin Cooper was the one and only killer, and they need to carry out the sentence that he was given.
But Cooper's attorneys have filed a clemency request with the governor's office, asking for more sensitive DNA testing of the evidence that they say will prove Cooper's innocence. Several politicians, including Senator Kamala Harris, now agree more tests should be done. But the Hughes family says there's no need.
No, because we heard this in 2004. The execution was stopped in 2004 so we could have new testing, and DNA testing has been done.
She knows this case gets attention because there are some people who don't believe in the death penalty. But she says those people shouldn't be focusing on Kevin Cooper. They should be focusing on his victims, like her son. The San Bernardino County District Attorney's Office has filed a formal opposition to the request for clemency, asking the governor's office to respect the decision of the jury and other courts that have looked at this case. In Chino Hills, Tina Patel, CBS 2 News.
The latest poll shows Gavin Newsom as the clear frontrunner in the campaign for governor of California. Former LA Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa is a distant second, along with Republican John Cox. Now, here's what the candidates are saying before next month's primary.
I'm taking nothing for granted in this race. We're running as if we're 10 points behind. We're running a campaign that's bottom up, not top down, meaning we've been in all parts of the state.
You know, whether people like me or not, they know who I am. I'm a guy who put everything I had in the city that gave me more than I could have ever imagined.
The primary is 2 weeks from today, and the top 2 finishers will face off in the November election. The city of West Hollywood is presenting adult film star Stormy Daniels with the key to the city tomorrow. The WeHo mayor and city council are also declaring tomorrow Stormy Daniels Day. The city says she's being honored because of her leadership in the #resist movement. Well, the beaches of Malibu are empty tonight, but earlier dozens of surfers hit the water to take advantage of some huge waves. This is part of a swell that spawned a record 78-foot wave in New Zealand. As CBS 2's Chris Holmstrom shows us, it's making its way to our coast. Chris.
Pat, this is really affecting south-facing beaches like this one in Malibu, but surfers say, hey, it's the unofficial start of summer, but with that comes some warnings. Surf's up in Malibu. Many of them catching 4 to 6 foot waves. Skinboarders like Cameron Poe also taking in the fun.
It's really fun. A lot of waves coming through today, so it's rad.
Something he's been waiting for.
Everyone sits around watching the camera. The first kind of 5 months in, we finally have some real waves.
You could say he's stoked, to say the least. As for the others, their patience paying off as they line up for the perfect wave.
They look like little seals.
But the fun comes with a warning. The National Weather Service letting people know about dangerous rip currents and elevated surf from the southerly swell. The larger waves really hitting south-facing beaches like Malibu. For Mel Brown and her kids, safety is always a priority.
They put all the swim gear on. You know, we don't want them scratching themselves, hurting themselves. And truthfully, at the moment, they don't go that far in. We're just in the shallow waters at the moment.
Other tips include swimming near a lifeguard. If you're caught in a rip current, relax and float and wait for help. If able, swim in a direction following the shoreline. Advice that could save your life this summer.
Summer's finally pretty much here, so hopefully, we're gonna have a summer filled with waves.
And the beach hazards will remain in effect through Thursday evening with the peak waves hitting tomorrow. Pat, we'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, thanks for that, Chris. Well, just minutes away, Garth Kemp has more on the coastal conditions and a look ahead to your Memorial Day weekend forecast. The president of USC is facing mounting pressure to resign over a growing sex abuse scandal. And now alleged victims are moving forward with lawsuits against the university. CBS 2's Tom Wade is live at USC with more on this. Tom?
And Pat, this all has to do with a gynecologist that worked here at the Student Medical Center on the USC campus. The allegations against him are horrific. Tonight, the calls for USC President C.L. Max Nikias to step down are growing louder. 200 faculty members signed a letter demanding he resign. Professors and other staff are taking the stand in the wake of a growing scandal at USC's Medical Center, where gynecologist Dr. George Tyndall is accused of sexually assaulting patients. USC professor of law and history Ariella Gross helped draft the petition.
People don't feel safe. I mean, enough is enough.
Professor Gross says the university kept secret the details of the investigation into Dr. Tyndall, which put students and staff in harm's way. Reasons for why they say Nikias should be ousted.
No reporting to the medical board, no reporting to law enforcement authorities, no telling victims.
I am still in shock.
Daniela Mohazab is among several women who have come forward with accusations that they were violated. Mohazab says when Tyndall examined her in 2016, he did not wear gloves and no one else was in the room.
He didn't use a speculum or any other medical tools. He made me feel extremely uncomfortable and violated.
Mohazab hired Gloria Allred and is suing.
What did USC know and when did they know it?
So far tonight, the Board of Trustees here at USC, they are supporting the president. They put out a statement expressing their confidence in his leadership to move the community forward. Reporting live on the USC campus, I'm Tom Waite. Pat, back to you.
Thank you, Tom. Well, news tonight that Pulitzer Prize-winning author Philip Roth has died. He wrote more than 25 books, including The Human Stain and American Pastoral. His publicist says he died tonight in a New York hospital of congestive heart failure. Roth was 85 years old. Now a David Goldstein investigation just in time for summer. His hidden cameras caught some air conditioning repairmen charging for repairs that weren't needed. And David's here now with his undercover investigation where he even caught someone intentionally disabling the unit.
That's what we think, and that's what we caught him doing, I think. No, we did. When the air conditioner repairman or woman tells you need this part or this kind of repair, your first thought is probably, are they being honest? Well, our hidden cameras found out. As the sun beats down on Southern California,
it's not blowing cold air.
We turned up the heat on air conditioning repair companies. You're just trying to rip us off, and you're trying to jack up the price, right?
Maybe, yeah.
It's not cooling.
We set up our undercover producer with hidden cameras in and around this condo in Santa Clarita.
No.
To find out if local repair companies would give us an honest estimate.
Can we cash? Yes.
But before we called in the technicians, we called in an expert.
Pressures look great.
Gabriel Chiaffi teaches air conditioning repair at LA Trade Technical College. He checked out our unit. It's working properly?
It's working properly.
It was working properly until we had him disconnect these two wires, cutting the power to the fan. He says it should be no more than a $200 repair job. Should a qualified technician catch what you did there with those two wires?
Absolutely. It should be very easy to diagnose.
Let's see.
Hi.
First up were Ron and Zib with XL Heating, Ventilation, and Air Conditioning. Their website claims they're reliable professionals.
No, it's just hot or warm air. Just warm air.
Ron left with his tools, saying he was going to check the unit outside, but our hidden camera shows him just walking by it several times, never inspecting to see what was wrong.
Okay, so he's almost done out there.
Even so, they pretended to diagnose the problem.
What Ron thinks right now that it's a part of the wiring and the controller.
And gave us a price.
The simple fix?
The simple fix is we're talking about $500, and he's gonna rewire it and make sure it's working.
Hey Ron, David Goldstein with CBS 2 News. How are you? Ron couldn't explain why he didn't find the two disconnected wires. Why is it $500 and have to rewire from inside to outside?
The price is not me, my friend. This
Who's
is
the
not
price?
my company.
Thanks. Hi, good, thank you.
Next was Vlad, who responded after we called American West Appliance Repair. Their website touts experienced technicians with factory training. He actually went outside and checked our unit, doing some work that we couldn't see. Then he came back with his findings of what was broken.
Electrical contactor.
Electrical contactor.
And the price?
Okay.
But not cheap.
Not cheap? Oh.
Parts, tax, labor, and total $322.34.
Everything's working fine. You're just trying to rip us off, and you're trying to jack up the price, right?
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe you are.
Maybe.
So you admit you are. That's very noble of you, to be honest. And I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
But when Vlad left, we connected the wires to test the unit. It didn't work.
Hold on here.
Chiaffi found this piece of something. He took this photo showing it was wedged in between the two metal contactors, which prevented the unit from starting. You ever seen something like this? Or somebody?
No, I've never seen that one before. That's the first.
So he's doing this to con us, right?
Apparently, yes.
Hey, Vlad. David Goldstein with CBS 2. Remember me? The next week, we caught up with Vlad, who this time wasn't coming clean.
I have no idea about...
Oh, come on. You were honest with me before. You want to be honest with me? Did you put that piece in there?
I have no idea about this.
Several companies did find the problem.
I found a bad wire downstairs, so I replaced it and it came on.
Like NRG Heating and Air, who didn't even charge us, and Reliance Home Services, who found it and charged a reasonable price.
So we'll be at $80.
But Vlad, while honest the first time, wasn't budging. Have a good day, my man.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Well, I guess the question is, how can you prevent this? The best way, of course, to get a second opinion, certainly if it's for a big money repair, but the smaller ones, you're sort of at the mercy of those repairmen. Pat?
All right, David, let's hope people wrote down the names of the good ones there that you showed us. Okay, well, actress Rita Moreno is show business royalty, one of the rare people who have won the Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony Awards. Tonight, she picked up another high honor at the Gracie Awards ceremony in Beverly Hills. She received the 43rd Annual Lifetime Achievement Award.
I never imagined I would have this kind of career. This is cuckoo. It's wonderful. But I never imagined I would be 86 either.
86. Wow. The Gracie Awards honors people in media and entertainment for their success and charitable work.
She looked great.
Rita
Moreno's awesome.
Had to say it again. 86.
86. Look at me, and I'm 23. Yeah.
But earlier you said you looked better than Brad Pitt, so. Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
So there's that.
Maybe I had a long lunch. Congratulations to her. All right, Pat, let's get to it. Show you what's going on. We have some big surf. Obviously, you saw our story a few minutes ago coming our way. And we're still dealing with the May Gray, the marine layer, as we make the break towards the unofficial start of summertime. Long Beach, then up the shore we go. A little bit of a mix-up in the surf there. Not too bad towards Santa Monica. Definitely got to be on a south-facing beach, 61 degrees. Right now, we're pretty much where we were last night. The clouds slowly starting to push themselves into the area. We officially made it up to 68. That's a degree warmer than we looked at earlier, so we upped it just a little bit. The average is right at around 75. There's the beach hazard statements. These aren't high surf warnings. 3 to 6, 4 to 8 on the south-facing beaches. A little crunchy. Enjoy it. It's all from that big southern hemi swell that came up that we get this time of year, and it just is producing some decent stuff down on South facing beaches. So enjoy it, surfers. It's going to continue through Thursday evening. If you're out viewing it, be careful by the jetties, though. They do have some rogue waves occasionally that make their way in. Meanwhile, there's the overcast. Watch, here we go again. Through tomorrow morning, I think we see the same pattern. We'll get a little better clearing out towards the interior areas tomorrow, I do think. But on Thursday, we sock it in again. So we still have these low pressure areas around us. And as they're there, they just funnel it in, bring some drizzle, some light scattered showers throughout the area. And that's really the pattern until we get towards the weekend. But boy, just in time for the weekend, things will start to turn the corner and we'll start to warm things up, particularly on Sunday and into Memorial Day. Good barbecue and weather. Valleys tomorrow 72 for our friends out in the Inland Empire, 74, high deserts 83, mountains coming in at 68. So all in all, Pat, I think it looks like it's going to be a very good weekend. Not too hot inland, so people won't be crashing towards the beach altogether.
But can be outside.
Yeah, it's going to be outside. It's going to be a nice, good barbecue weather.
Okay,
All
thank you, Gareth. And still ahead, the Chargers tight end Hunter Henry's season is over before it even began. And here's a look at the guests tonight on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert.